This is FTH 223, hammer-fired pistols. This is Module 3. Today's date is, hi bud, March 2nd, 2025. I am Ken Osborne, Oz the Gumpy Gunsmith. Grumpy, yeah, not Gumpy, but that'd be Forrest Gump. Whenever we do anything, we talk about safety first. And I have, obviously my firearm is broken down. I have a magazine here. I have no ammo around me when I'm working. I'm wearing eye protection because I'm moving with moving parts. And what we're doing today is we broke down the firearm and we've taken these three parts. And we have the recoil spring guide. We have the firing pin, and we have the sear housing assembly. And I'm going to reverse engineer it. And I've already drafted out the parts as best as I can. As you can see, I've got everything here. And I'm going to start with the recoil spring. And the best way to measure it, well, there's all kinds of tools, but I'm going to use our calipers here. And the first thing I want to do is I want to turn it on. And when you use this wheel, you just use some finesse, because you don't want to, you can stretch and take it out of sync. But what I want to do is get it as zero as possible and then zero it out. So I start with a fresh reading. Now, use the caliper. I'm going to take a couple readings. And I'm going to get the overall length of my recoil spring guide. The overall length is 3.8135. 3.8135. I'm also going to measure the inside of that wall. We're not measuring that outer point there. And that's going to give me, come on, sweetheart, 3.7. So this is the reading for here. No, there's a reading for here. But now I'm going to read off this point. And I've got 3.7. Let's do it one more time because I think it moved. 720. And you see how easy it changes because I just set it down and went to jump to 725. The width of it is 0.2. 0.2455. 0.2455. And then I want to measure, I'm going to measure the height of the divot. So I'm going to zero this out. I'm going to put this on a high point. And I'm just going to bring down this measuring tool right here. And that's going to give me 0.03, yeah, right off the page I go. 395. And that's pretty much how I get the measurements for my recoil spring guide. Now I'm going to come back to this one because this one is, special. So, now with my firing, I thought I lost it. Let's put it over here. I was scared for a second. Now I'm going to measure overall length of my firing pin. 2.4. 2. So overall length. Yep, we're going to go up here. 0.4. Nickel, 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 baby. Now, let's say I want to measure this divot inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these chucks right here, these teeth right here, these jaws, however you want to call it. And I'm going to close that just enough so I can bring them in and touch the walls. And that gives me, because you can't really measure it this way because you're not going to get a good measurement. But right here, 0.2370. 0.2370. So that's pretty much, you know, I mean, I can measure here to get a measurement. I can measure this overall width to get a measurement, because all these measurements are important when reverse engineering. Now, with this one right here, there's a lot to this. I just drew out from here to here. And you know, if I was to, because this right here is just the ejector. Everything else is the sear housing, and it's all one component. And if I was to reverse engineer this that would be pretty tricky, because, and I'd hate to reverse engineer this because there's all of this to recreate. But if you look at it, you've got an angle here. You've got multiple angles and curves, which are the actual ejector. And the reason why you reverse engineer anything is so you can recreate it and copy it. This is your tool, because sometimes you can't buy the part. Sometimes we got older firearms now that we have to recreate. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to show you how to use the no-go gauge and go gauge. Okay, I'm back. And still safety applies. No live ammo around me, just dummy rounds and an empty magazine. So I'm taking my go gauge now, and I'm going to stick it in the chamber, and I'm going to attempt to close it. The go gauge, my hood should close. Crap. Stop. Sorry about that. So I was confused with the ejector because it won't close with it. So what I do is I lift the barrel up and drop it in place, and you can see that the hood is closed. With the no-go gauge in, I put the no-go gauge in, and it will not close. It's too wide. You know, I can't get the hood to completely close unless I force it. So that tells me that the firearm is set up correctly. Now, if I wanted to use this as my no-go gauge, I would add a little bit of tape, a couple layers of tape, trim it off, and it is the same effect as a no-go gauge. This is Kenneth Osborne. Thanks for watching my video.